Welcome to WKRP Montrose, a radio station masquerading as a podcast about Montrose, Colorado, and the Western Slope. Recording live from the Clear Network studio.
Hey everybody, welcome to WKRP Montrose at the Clear Network studio. I like being able to say that. I like it in the intro too.
I like it, but when you say Clear Network studio, all I hear is ka-ching.
Ka-ching!
Yeah.
Ka-ching!
Get some of that Clear Networks money.
Ka-ching!
All right, relax.
I like it.
Hang on a minute. I'm just sending a text message to our guest wife just to confirm our meetup later.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Can we have a surprise visit for our guest with his wife coming on the show?
No. We'll meet up later.
Oh, okay. All right.
She doesn't want to hear me talk.
Oh, none of that. Right. Your mic is live, guest. You need to be quiet over there for a second.
I did say on a previous episode, probably the one before this, it was about dating, and I said I don't mess around with other people's wives.
Right.
But I do hang out with my friends' wives sometimes.
Yeah, you have an uncomfortable relationship with mine too.
It's not uncomfortable at all. It's very nice.
I mean, it's uncomfortable for me.
She likes it. What's the big problem? same as today's guest.
Yeah,
his wife loves spending time with me. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, but you guys have too much in common. It makes me nervous.
Well, yeah, we need to both keep you in line. Honestly,
is that what it is?
Why I have these roundtable discussions with the wives in the group. Like, what do you need me to do? How do I keep Dennis in line? How do we keep Hollis in line? You know.
Thanks for ruining the reveal.
Yeah, who cares?
Thanks for ruining. Hi, Hollis.
It's an advisory service. I offer.
Hello, guys.
All right.
What were we saying about stroking his ego earlier? Like I think
people do not need to hear about. Nope, I'm not saying it.
Yeah,
it's already begun.
I was going to say some other stuff
about. Yeah, what was it that you said? You said, think of how lucky you are to have my voice in your ear. Think of how many what?
That doesn't sound like something I would say.
I feel like Hollis back me up.
Yeah, maybe word for word.
I think it might have had it word for word.
That does not sound like something I would say.
I think that sounds exactly what you would say.
If anyone out there does want a recording of my silky tones,
just hit subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Yeah, or I can offer private.
No, you can't.
No, I can't.
No, you can't. You're under contract. So right here.
I wanted this an alarm clock in the morning.
Yeah.
It's that annoying. It'll bring you out of sleep.
Like I need to turn this off.
Well, you know what I'll do? I can do both.
What's that?
I can record myself saying things to help you get soundly to sleep.
And what would those be?
Well, I don't know yet. And then I could say something really annoying to
Hey, call 970-316-3162 if you would download an app with Rob's voice on it,
Not an app.
and if it would put you to sleep.
Just drop me your cell phone number. I'll give you a call. Don't answer it. You got to record it.
No.
It's like
We need to monetize this stuff. Did we just not talk about the ching?
like Cameo.
He's ready to just give it away.
Yeah,
It's like Cameo, but just me.
Yeah.
That I could live with that. I do have, before we get started. So Hollis is your first name, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That is my first name.
Just want to clarify that for people out there, because obviously it's not a name. Right?
What do you mean it's not a name?
Well, you know what I mean.
It's not a common name.
There's a reason that I asked him that question, because that's your Instagram handle or something?
Yeah.
Because everybody, presumably in the past, has said, is Hollis your first name?
And that's your Instagram handle is Hollis
is my first name.
Yeah.
And you've met other
do you have
Hollises.
do you have a
3 or
second
4 of them.
Do you have a second like Instagram with break it up?
Everybody thinks I spelled my last name, or like they think it's Blake Hollis.
Oh.
So, and I just spelled my last name wrong. Like
I think that could be your alter ego.
Blake Hollis.
Yeah, he sounds suave, though. You have to be different.
Rico Suave.
Well, the name's Hollis.
Before phone
Blake
apps
Hollis.
where you'd order pizza like over the phone, I would get my box of pizza and it would just say Paul S on it. Like I was the type of person that would introduce themselves to a pizza person and say my middle initial.
Yeah.
I just thought that was weird.
Yeah, you might be that guy. Possibly. So, Hollis Brake or Whole Ass Brake. Yeah. Do you know what it sounds like to me? Like, fartlek training?
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like. It's like whole ass brake. Whole ass.
It's fitting.
Brake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dennis doesn't know what fartlek training is.
I don't know what that is.
It's a Swedish word for speed play.
Okay. You know what?
Don't worry, let's leave him
I'm
in the
not
dark.
less confused now than when you guys said it before.
Let's leave him in the dark on
Yeah.
this.
Okay.
A less structured interval.
All right. Listen, at this minute mark
hang on.
in the video, if you know what it is, please comment on the video.
There we go.
You're so
Because
desperate.
I'm going to guess that I'm not the only one out there. And please comment if you also don't know what the hell they were just talking about.
I'm gonna
Try and get
interrupt.
somebody to spell it properly.
Yeah. Are you trying to do some ASMR?
I was.
Well, too late.
Hang on.
Oh, good glug.
It sounds
That
so
was a
fake.
good. Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to say
Thank you.
this is root beer from Pomona Brewing. We love Pomona. They supply us. We have root beer because Hollis likes root beer more than beer, right? You're not a huge drinker.
Yeah.
I can't stand root beer, so this is going to be interesting. I think it's disgusting.
Oh,
Taking one for the team.
Do you have a glass there?
I do have a glass,
want
but you can see
His is
it-
already filled with
Yeah.
root beer.
root beer with the root of beer in it.
Coming.
Okay. Hey, you guys actually did that really well without hitting the mics.
I didn't
Not
hit the
bad.
mic, really?
Oops.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, there he goes.
All right.
That's thanks,
Oh
Rob.
my God, it smells like medicine. It's like icy hot or something. That
Well, you just said earlier, Hollis,
I love it.
that you actually like the. Did you say you like black licorice?
I do. Yeah. Here's the thing, though, is I like anything with sugar in it. Is actually
Oh, okay.
yeah. So you can overpower the black licorice flavor with just more sugar.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. And so that's right, because you said you like it's got like a candy coating that's got like that sour on it as well.
Yeah.
I might try that. I might try it
I'll
one
bring
time.
some in one of these days. I should have. I feel like I should have came with like a sampler platter of
Coming-
my favorite
bearing
things.
gifts?
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. I slacked off a little bit.
all right. Well, that tastes better than it smells.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, what a resounding.
I just don't like it. It's nobody's. If I was going to pretend to like a root beer, it would be the one from Pomona.
Yes. Well, can you at least give them like a solid plug for Pomona? Yeah. Ding.
Good work. I'll stick to your beer.
It's quite tasty.
It's not for everybody. That's fine.
Root beer is not for everybody.
Yeah.
Well, that means Hollis got a whole growler to drink.
There you
which
go.
I don't think would be a problem.
No, totally not.
All right. So Hollis and I are good friends.
Yeah.
You know Hollis. So that the dynamic might be a little different, but
Were you just trying to insinuate that Hollis and I are not friends? Maybe not as good of friends as you are.
that's true.
We're newer friends.
I know more.
Wait, I'm done talking to you. Hollis, are we friends?
Yes,
Okay,
100%.
cool. Awesome. I
We've
just wanted
moved way past strong acquaintance.
Okay.
We're now in a friendship.
because I have trusted you with teaching my daughter how to river surf.
I kept your daughter alive. at
Yes,
one
you
point.
did.
Yeah.
So I feel like that constitutes a friendship.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a level of trust.
Yes, very much so.
I haven't done that for Rob yet.
So
What's
some
his
would say you're less
what-
friends than
what's
we
his
are.
cat's name? What's the name of their cat?
I actually don't know.
Exactly. It's
Does that
worm or squirm.
what's here you go.
Interchangeable.
What's the name of my cat?
I don't know.
Ah.
But I've been to your house to take care of your animals when you're out of town.
So that's even worse.
I know
You
your
like
cats.
you
I know the cats. The dog's deaf, and the cat roams around.
Yes.
I mean, all right, that's good enough.
Oh, is it good enough? Okay.
Yeah.
What is your cat's name?
Seems pretty superficial.
Snowball.
No.
Peabody.
Peabody.
What color is my cat?
White.
Oh my god.
Did he at least get that right?
You weren't even taking care of my cat. You were taking care of somebody else's
I
cat.
beat at somebody else's house.
They're really well fed.
My cat is a brindle color,
Okay.
and her name is Iris.
Right.
Those go well together, right?
Yeah. Good job.
Okay, thank you.
You didn't name the cat, though, did you?
No, and neither did you. You didn't name your cat Winston.
I didn't name it. Nobody named it Winston because
Well,
that's not his name.
That would be a better name for the cat. This
Yeah.
show has gone off the rails.
I expected nothing less.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all right.
I think the only consistency in that is that it's you.
Right.
We've been trying to get you on the mic.
Oh yeah,
you showed up and
he
just
has
completely.
he's been ducking us.
Yeah.
And he's going to claim that some nonsense about I said yes, blah, 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 and I've been ignoring him.
That's exactly how it happened.
You ducked me. At least the first time I asked you, you
I did say
expressed
no.
some kind of concern about
Yeah.
being recorded and on camera and stuff. But
I did say no a couple of times. And then when I finally said yes, he just ghosted me for the next 6 weeks at
yeah,
least.
because that's how it goes.
That actually does sound
He's
100% accurate.
Plain hard to get.
With
you know?
Rob.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I think he's even off camera, like laid that out as a game plan. Like if
Yeah,
what were we talking about?
I'll make-
Stroking his ego?
Yeah, I'll
If
just
you
make-
don't stroke his ego right away,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
That's how this works.
Okay.
Everybody knows this by now. This is for my
Is
amusement.
this the first time you've met Rob?
Yeah. Hi.
This is all for my amusement.
Okay.
When this stops being fun, WKRP goes away.
I mean,
But it's still
I feel like you're not the only one that gets a say in that, but fair enough.
You know.
I don't know. I think he's kind of replaceable, though.
Yeah,
Like, there's a few people that could come in and.
I got a feeling we have audience members out there that would even vote for that. I don't know why.
Guess what?
Ratings go up.
Yeah.
This is not a democracy.
It could be.
I'm not talking about the US, or am I? I'm
right.
talking about WKRP, this studio. This is my domain. You, court jester, can keep it trapped.
It's weird. I've always kind of visualized those roles opposite.
Yeah, as him, he is the jester.
Honestly,
Yeah.
just look at him and imagine him with one of those jester hats on. It would fit
Perfectly.
I mean, I don't know if it would fit. You got a very large
I've got
head.
a
Whose
massive
heritage would be closer to having a jester as like an actual.
I mean, look at him. He's born in Florida. Born in Florida. He's an actual Florida
You're
man.
born in Wales. It's
Hey.
way closer to jesters.
At least you know that. Unlike the other racists out there who call me English.
Or even better, your
Australian.
your Australian heritage. It's really New Jersey.
All right, I'm going to look at my little list of things I wrote.
Are you?
So
well,
I know-
while you do that, can we actually give the guest
I'm
like a
gonna
minute
ask-
on the mic?
Oh, all right.
Hollis, how did you come to Montrose? Who are you? What do you do? Why are you here?
Yeah. Oh, man. I moved here 12 years ago, November. I moved out with a friend of mine that I guided mountain bikes with. Most people in the community would know me from managing Montrose Surf Cycle, so local gear shop. My identity when I moved here was mostly mountain biking. Over the last few years, I gotten a couple concussions, kind of stepped away from mountain biking, been running a lot more.
Really?
Yeah, running a little bit more.
Wow,
That-
no
okay,
idea.
that feels like a drastic understatement. I've been
Well, so I was going to bring this up. It's a sensitive topic, and I know that Hollis doesn't really like to talk about it too much. But you did something called the Moab 240, right? I know you don't like to talk about it, but can you tell us a little bit about what that is?
It's
and-
an uncomfortable thing to talk about
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
But it is something I'm very proud of. So in a circle of friends, I will obviously talk about it too much.
No, that is not what I was insinuating at all. I have not even heard the story of Moab 240.
Did you bring? Do they still give away the belt buckle? Look at it.
Every day I have
he's
a
got
pair
it.
of pants that have loops on it. That belt's on. I'm very proud of it.
It's pretty cool.
For those who don't know, the Moab 240 is a 240-mile foot race.
Thanks for saying foot race and not run, because
Yeah.
that was not.
There's a
running the whole
difference,
time. Yeah,
right?
100%.
Yeah.
The elites run a lot of it. I did not.
Dennis does 3-mile foot races, don't you, Dennis?
I wouldn't even call it a foot race. I'd call it a gentle stroll.
Yeah.
That's healthy, though.
If we're talking 3 miles,
That's probably
yeah.
better for longevity.
Yeah.
So
But yes, 240 miles. I mean, it's ridiculous.
yeah.
It's ridiculous. And I honestly think you might have a screw loose upstairs just to sign up for something like that.
Yeah. No, I agree. 100%.
Well, we've already made the I just got lost.
Wow.
Oh, concussions. We've already made
Oh, Lord.
we've already made the direct connections with concussions.
Okay, that was not scripted. His brain just doesn't function all of the time.
It did just stop right in the middle, right there.
The hamster was on a
the
break.
hamster.
The computer was working, but the screen just went black for
Yeah,
a minute. Yeah.
absolutely.
So yeah, you two have that in common. You've both hit your head several times.
How were like? What was your last concussion? How'd you get it?
2 summers ago, mountain biking. I was in Snowmass riding a bike and just keeping up with friends of mine that are faster than I am now. I used to like show them good lines, and now they've gotten better, and I regressed.
Okay.
And then just case to jump, went over the bars, 8 feet to flat,
Oh no.
like feet head.
Did I hear? Did you break a helmet?
No.
Or one
Broken
it-
5 or 6 of them.
Okay.
I have. I was thinking of Tanner. I may have
Tanner
told you the
destroyed
story
his helmet.
about our friend Tanner. Oh, you know Tanner,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah. Hey, Rob. I know people. I know it's
Do you-
surprising.
But do you know him?
I mean-
do you know his dog's name?
I don't know his dog's name, and we can, I think, now reliably understand that is a false claim that you make as well.
It's okay when I say it, but
Okay. All right.
To be honest, Tanner's concussion, like I witnessed that crash. I was right behind him on trail. We were riding, not aggressive, but honestly, that had a bigger impact in me being a safer rider and taking care of myself than any concussion I've had before. I think when you get a concussion and you deal with that, like you're not seeing the trauma and
right.
you're
From
just,
the outside.
right? You don't realize like how much cognition you've lost in the moment. But yeah, it was crazy. Like he went from 3-minute circles repeating a story, like you just kind of watch his life get 5 minutes and then 8 minutes, and he does have to relive the whole thing again. And I know that I did something similar because people had told me that from my experiences, but to witness what that actually is like was very, very impactful. And I think that's part of why I kind of don't mountain bike as aggressive as I was there for a while. So
it's scary. It's scary when, like, and as you said, if you're the person,
yeah,
you have no idea.
Way
right?
harder for the people that
it's
are
way
close to
harder
you.
for the people that are around you. Very much so.
But here's the thing. I mean, it is inherently dangerous, you know, a little bit, but like any kind
Calculated
of
risk.
extreme sport, skiing is equally. But of course, the thrill of doing it, like the closer you get to the line,
Sure.
the danger, the more thrilling it is. Right?
Agreed. Yeah.
So, is being a good mountain biker knowing how close you can get to that line?
yeah.
You
And
know what I mean?
yeah, I would say so. I think most people that have been mountain biking for a long time know where their line is.
Right.
If they're paying attention, there's plenty of people out there that are just, their confidence is 110% of their ability and they eat it all the time and whatever. And I've always kind of, it's funny, in my group of friends in Oregon, I was the more calculated one that like wouldn't hit the big drop that day if they weren't feeling good or like, you know, whatever. I could make excuses. I got teased a little bit. I rode a hardtail and downhill because it gave me an out to hit the big jump.
Right.
But if I did hit the big jump on a hardtail, it's like, that guy's really good. He hit that jump on a hardtail.
Yeah.
Right.
So I could kind of like, retract how hard I wanted to go on the day and not get ridiculed by my friends as much. And then when I moved out here, I was doing things like half as big. And people are like, that guy's nuts.
Right.
So it's really funny. It's also like the people you're around, how often you're doing it. It builds. So like, I remember when I was kind of at my prime mountain biking, I'd maybe hit like 15, 18 foot jumps, you know, gap jumps or whatever. And then we did our first trip to Whistler. And when you get off the lift and you're going to ride Freight Train, or at that time it was A-Line and Dirt Merchant, they're two trails that I'd seen like pros ride in videos. And I was just like super
Gung ho to go do it. Yeah.
The first jump in the line's like 12 feet. You're like, oh, okay, this is like pretty real. And then like by the time you hit the bottom of A-Line, you've hit 45 jumps in a row. The last one's 50 feet from lip to landing. And you're just like, here's another one. Whoop. No big deal. And you come back from that, and now all of a sudden you're comfortable hitting these huge jumps. But then a summer goes by and you're not doing it regularly because your trails don't have it. You got to kind of like build back up to it. Anyway, I had to.
Yeah.
A lot of friends would just huck meat. But
Is overconfidence a problem? Like in terms of, you know, because you can be too confident, you get injured, and then it kind of can ruin the sport for you, right?
Yeah,
Do you
for
see
sure.
a lot of people out there where you think you shouldn't be doing that, or, you know, inexperienced riders?
yeah, I try not to judge people because I went through a lot of those phases where I was learning what my abilities were and like surrounding myself with people who would straight up heckle you for not hitting the 12-foot drop,
Right.
even though they could only hit 8-foot drops. So like staying away from people that would like push you past your comfort zone.
Right.
And with that being said, like I just said, push past comfort zone. I love pushing my friends past comfort zones.
Right.
But one of my favorite things is like people typically will tell me like I support them in it. I'm not pushing them into an unsafe area. I'm pushing them past a comfort zone, not something I don't think they can do.
Right.
And so I think there's something beautiful about that too. Like, wow, I didn't know that I could do that.
Right.
That's
Well, there's
crazy.
that buffer, right, between comfort zone and ability.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think, I mean, Hollis is very good at encouraging and teaching. And I think
Thanks.
that zone is, you know, because you do need to be pushed a little bit often, but it's not going too far.
Is there any zone that Rob doesn't like? We're talking about being overconfident. Is there any, like, if you were trying to teach Rob, would there be like, there's no need to push him because
Rob and I have a history. I've mentored Rob into a 50K ultra marathon.
I mean, I wasn't going to bring up the fact that I've done an ultra marathon, but seeing as we brought it up, Hollis was instrumental in helping me get to that point where I could do that.
Yeah, it was fun. We had a great summer.
Did
We
he
ran
finish?
together. Yeah, he finished.
Eventually.
I mean, we were like,
I don't
we had
remember
a
the time.
picnic After we finished, we like had a picnic and hung out for a while. And, people were like yawning after taking naps, and then like Rob finished.
I walked across the line.
Were they shutting down? Was there a finish line for him to go across, or had they already shut things down and gone home?
And there were people behind me.
Hey,
you know what?
Yeah,
How about this?
Lots. Actually, there was more than a couple. Like you did good in that.
I'm happy now, like live as it were on the record.
Yeah.
Let's do something like that.
Who, you and me?
Yeah, come on, you got a big mouth there.
Hey, listen. I've got something much better. I spent 16 hours observing an Ironman. I am an Iron Mate. Match that, buddy. Come on.
So you watched something for 16 hours.
That's right. I watched my wife do an Ironman for 16 hours.
That's actually an endurance event.
Can you make such claims? I don't think so.
I
don't think so.
You're such a muppet.
You had this thought in your mind that you were going to guilt me into something that I don't want to do.
Chicken, that's all.
Right? What do you want me to dance around the studio? No problem.
Big old chicken.
Huge chicken. Massive.
Turkey.
Fine. Couple. It doesn't work. You can keep trying though.
I want to go back to the Moab.
Whenever you're ready, I'm in your corner.
Yeah, 50 miles?
Whatever.
No, it's not going to happen.
What about a 10K?
10K.
I've done the turkey trot here in Montrose several years.
I bet you did. Lead turkey.
Yeah, absolutely. I was wearing the suit and everything. It doesn't work for him. He doesn't get the fact that he thinks he's coming with these punchlines.
I know.
All right.
I want to talk about the Moab 240 a little bit.
Okay.
Because it's a ridiculous thing to do.
It is.
And we started talking about it and then got off track a little bit.
Yeah. We got some time.
So that wasn't the race you threw up in, right? The video I saw was you. That was the Uray 50.
I mean, be more specific. I've thrown up in most of my races, actually.
But tell us a little bit about the Moab 240. What makes you do it? How do you do it? How do you complete it?
Yeah. I want a better question than that. Walk us through a 240, like mile marker 10, mile marker 40, mile marker 100.
We don't have all day.
I'll split it up by more than 10.
There we go. Here we go.
But no, I think signing up for that was it goes way back. I have I'll go back a little bit and give some background because Moab 240, if you're just getting into running and you see 240 miles, it is stupid. Like, nobody should finish that. It should be an impossible task, etc. And anyway, I'm surrounded by a bunch of enabling, crazy people. The two people that I'm a race director for Uray 100. The two people that I direct with, they've both done Moab 240 2 times each.
Shout out to Charles and Chris.
Yep.
Friends of the show.
Friends of the show.
And Chris was nice enough to ask me to pace him. And this was last year. And so 2023, he raced it. It was his second time. And he wanted me to pace him for the last 40 or asked if I would. And anyway, so that was like a privilege to me. I look up to Chris, like as a runner. He's awesome. And I feel like he barely puts any work in and is always really good. It's this kind of, for me, it's very humbling.
Yeah.
Because I put in hours and hours of training every week and like just to kind of maybe finish. He got, I can't remember, 11th place or 10th place or something like that. And he had 40 miles where it was like he had to walk because his stomach was so messed up. We stopped 12 times for him to take nature breaks, like absolutely savage. And for some reason, I thought it would be a good idea for me to sign up after watching somebody who's way stronger than me just have the most miserable time of his life.
I could do that too.
Yeah. And it's not even like an I can. It was like I wonder if I can.
Yeah.
And so I think that's my core like philosophy in life is just to be curious about things. And I love learning about new stuff. And as soon as I can't do things physical, I'll focus on something else. I'll learn woodworking or I'll, try to be better at shooting pool or whatever the thing is.
You need to.
Fair. I was waiting for it to actually set that up for you.
Yeah.
It's not like you're a billiards expert either over here.
Yeah.
I doubt you could even like put English on the ball. And you're freaking
he
English.
Puts Welsh on the ball, actually.
Yeah. We don't do that.
Yeah, you put Welsh on the ball, it goes sideways.
All right, Mr. Getting us off track.
Yeah, sorry.
It's all right. But I guess back in like the mid 2000s, this is kind of the origin of why I chose to do harder things and how that became part of my life. But I met this guy when I worked at a bike shop. He's a Paralympic cyclist. He just had a right arm. He had lost his left in an industrial accident. And anyway, he led these group road rides. And at that time, I raced downhill mountain bikes. I hit jumps. I didn't care about fitness at all. Right. I ran cross country in high school, and that was a big part of like me at young high school age. But I'd completely like let go of that by the time I was 25. I didn't really care about fitness at all. It was just about like how big of a jump I could hit on my bike. And he talked me into doing a road ride. He chipped at me similar to how Rob chipped at me to do this show, right? So anyway, I finally said yes. And it was like a 17 or 18 mile road ride. And on a borrowed bike, I think I had like a Taco Bell burrito and like killed my bottle of water. And I was bonking super bad, and we had this big hill climb. And I get to the bottom of this hill climb, everybody else is gone. Yeah. And I see this one-armed silhouette at the top of the hill, and he turns around and comes down. And at one point, he puts his hand on, like I'm giving it everything I got just to get to the top of this hill. He puts his one good arm on my back and pushes me to the top of this hill, literally. Wow. So he's riding no hands, right, giving me assistance. Absolutely humiliating, right? As a like 25-year-old man, like I think like the pride has an ego now, but like my ego at 25 is pretty solid. And so it's absolutely humiliating. And anyway, we went to this barbecue afterward, and he introduced me to like what he called the Sufferfest theory, and it was you push yourself past your comfort zone, you learn something about yourself. Right. Try and do something every year, every 6 months, every 3 years, whatever. Whenever you need a reminder. That you're actually.
What does he call it again? The Sufferfest?
He called it a Sufferfest theory.
Okay.
And so now I've like read books on it. I've studied it. Like I dove into psychology about it. It's like it's a core principle of who I am now. And but there's like Masogi. I don't know if I'm even saying that right. It's a Japanese word. Vision quests for the natives, right? So these are all similar things. How you become a man. How you become a better person. Peeling back a layer of an onion, what's inside, right? And so my curiosity...
I was just going to say Dennis likes onions. Blooming onions.
Those are good.
Well, big joke. The same thing, though, without it being athletic, in the world of entrepreneurialism, the idea is that and even in athletes, is you learn nothing from the successes. Exactly. You learn everything from the failures. Yeah. And so, the idea of like taking yourself to a place that you're not confident that you can get to. Yeah. That's absolutely where you learn something. Yeah. So I'm 100% on board and totally get it. I haven't heard of it referred to in that way.
And I think physically going into that like Sufferfest thing, it crosses over. I think that's like pretty self-explanatory that way, but it can be anything. Like, to be honest, when Rob first hit me up about coming on a podcast, I mean, my face is flush right now. Like, it's not a super comfortable thing to be recorded. Like, I love talking in a group of friends, but it's actually pretty uncomfortable to be recorded. And so I've been like trying to work on that to better it. And that's like one thing that I chose to try and be more comfortable with.
Wow, so we're pushing you out of your comfort zone.
No, totally.
But you look totally comfortable.
Thank you.
Okay.
I don't know if he looks totally comfortable. The hands, look at the hands.
No, totally.
No.
Yeah, there's something a little bit, I don't know.
I've chewed all my fingernails off this week thinking about it.
Oh, good.
Seriously.
Excellent. Yeah. But there's definitely...
You're such a good friend, Rob.
I know. There's definitely...
No, it's good though.
Like, we talked about this earlier, the idea that if I'm... And it's not just me. Like, if I'm very nice and polite to you, we're probably not that good of friends.
That's true.
Men, that's how men bond. And I've got in trouble, actually.
A lot.
With, well, I've got in trouble, like, for example, dry January. I've had friends in the past who do in dry January, right? And yes, there's a part of me that's like secretly, I'm like, good for you. But in public, I'm like, get a beer, you big baby. And what
you can't control yourself?
Yeah, exactly. And what happens is, this happened once, that this friend's partner didn't quite understand, I think, how that dynamic works, and was very feminine about it. And like, you should be supporting each other. I'm like, well, I do secretly, but I can't publicly.
That's
can't
how
tell.
we support each other.
Yeah. If I don't know the person very well, then I won't insult them.
Well, was it you that sent me the meme, or did I send you the meme that was like, I think you sent it to me. It was talking about how men create their friendships.
Yes.
And understanding like, hey, if you go and do something that's maybe on the edge and police show up, the ones that take off immediately are not your mates.
Yeah,
like, those are not your friends.
No, if you're going to go through something.
And if you have somebody that's constantly telling you, "Oh, you're awesome, you're great," those aren't really your friends either.
It's boring.
So yeah, there is like men definitely develop our relationships a lot differently than the fairer sex.
Very much so. And I don't think they often don't understand that. They're
Sure.
like, why are you so mean to your friends? You go, because I have to be. We're friends. You said it yourself.
Sharpens steel.
Yeah. To the male brain, we're like, I don't understand why you don't get this.
Right.
Okay, but to that point, then we also I sent the video out to several people too. That's like, I get to berate you, abuse you, make as much fun of you.
Right.
But boy, don't let anybody else do it. If somebody else tries to say that to you, I'll rip their soul straight out of their body.
Well, and I think it's intentions too. For me personally, like if Rob teases me, I know that he's teasing me about that thing and whatever, but he does have my best like well-being.
Well, if somebody came into the bar,
if somebody comes in
from
malicious
out of town and they start joining in, I'd be like, no, I get to do this. You don't even know him.
Right.
You don't get to do that.
Yeah, go sit down and be quiet.
That's not how this works. So I was going to say that what you were saying about entrepreneurialism and suffering is this why sometimes professional athletes, they go into the business world afterwards and they take that mentality with them and they can often be
They can do very well. Yeah.
Because they have that can-do attitude or that attitude of, I know what I can do.
Well, it's like the exact opposite of risk aversion, right?
Yeah.
I'm running to the risk,
Right.
Yeah.
and embracing it in full fledged.
And you need yes friends who will encourage it, and you need them to also stand up when you're doing something stupid or dangerous. Right. And that's actually like a pretty special relationship. Because like I'm going to encourage you to do some stupid run in the desert, but I'm not going to encourage you to go into a slot canyon when a rainstorm's coming, right? Like there's a balance to the the adventure. I want it to be an adventure, not an epic, right?
And there's a trust on his side that you're not going to take him to go do that.
And that's true.
So
that's why there are people, friends and people in my life that I'd be like, I'm not taking advice from you.
Yeah. So back to the 240.
Yeah.
It is Rob the guy that would be then halfway on, like, around mile 120? Is he like the guy that's on the sideline going, go Hollis? Or is he like, give it up, mate, you're never going to make it?
I feel
No,
like,
I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, it would be a balance of those two.
Yeah.
I don't think you
I would
be,
never encourage somebody to give up.
Right.
I would tell you to stop crying.
And you would tell me that I look like shit.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, you look terrible. Stop crying, you big baby. Just get out there and finish it. It's only another 120 miles. What's wrong with you?
Stop puking on yourself and get it under control,
you're
man.
making you're embarrassing me now by puking on yourself.
I never actually threw up in Moab 240. Yeah.
No?
Yeah. I've thrown up in almost every other race over like 15 miles. But
Are you allowed to listen to music while you're out there? Is that something that you
can do whatever you want.
Okay.
So I didn't start listening to music until after Moab 240.
Okay.
I've listened to a podcast with my phone on speaker on like a long boring run somewhere where I had to put in 4 hours and it was around town because I couldn't get to the mountains. But typically I would, if I'm out in the mountains, like
you're embracing
no
the
headphones,
outdoors.
I want to like feel and hear my breath. I want to like look around. I want to be a part of my like environment. And then in a race like Moab, there's a ton of support from other people. Like that's one thing I really love about ultra running specifically. When you do shorter distance stuff and you're catching up to somebody, you're like, all right, I got to reserve a little bit of energy. And when I pass them, I'm going to bury that person.
Yeah.
They're not coming back. Like they can die out here. I don't care about you.
Right.
But when you're doing something to where it's 20 miles to the next aid station and like you've leapfrogged this person 5 or 6 times, you're like, Pam, good job out there.
Yeah, you're doing great.
Yeah, you're doing awesome. Like, do you have everything you need?
Yeah.
And so like I gave up 2.5 liters of water that I was carrying and salt pills to people who were throwing up on the trail.
Right.
I gave gels to multiple people. Like there's this weird camaraderie. And if you have headphones in, you don't get those you don't get those interactions. And there's a couple people where like you're out in the middle of the desert in the middle of the night. It's 3 a.m. or something. And you're trotting along. You finally catch up to a headlight and you're like, man, good work out here. This is beautiful, isn't it? And they're just like,
yeah,
they didn't hear anything. They got
They didn't hear
headphones
anything,
in.
so-
Yeah. And I never really want to be that person that's not engaging with the people around me.
right. They might as well be on a treadmill.
Yeah, exactly. That's
kind
how
of
it
thing.
feels. And
Yeah.
and for me also, like the benefit of not being with music is that I can be really in tune with my body. So like, I got that little twinge in my quad. Like I probably need some more salt.
Or you
Like,
can
maybe
hear your knees.
Crinkling, crackling. All right. Well, I've got something for you for your next run then. So if you're not listening to music, you need that like little earworm that's like going on. Mana mana.
You've been hanging out with Marcinek.
No, that's like my favorite. Most people don't know that reference. And if you don't know, like Google it, but you're welcome. That'll be in your head for the rest of the day.
Dennis
Dennis
is a Muppet, which is my favorite insult. But he also
which Muppet is it? It's their band.
Animal. Right?
No, it's not Animal. That's funny because he has the crazy
the drums to it.
Animals does play he does play the drums, but it wasn't like an everyday character. It was his own guy. He had the big glasses and the nose, but he did have the crazy hair.
Yeah.
And he had like the hippie vest on. And am I doing a good job with the visualization?
I guess I don't.
You're gonna have to put a link in the show notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I did want to say,
Savannah.
Yeah.
Put the link in the show notes.
While we were talking about me, I wanted to.
No, were we talking about you?
I'm talking about my my experience of ultra running.
Your one.
It is. I don't know about the 240, right? But it can be a very humbling experience being overtaken, and I'm quite content and happy to admit that somebody who's 60, 65, even 70 years old will just trot past you as you're almost throwing up on the side of the trail.
Yeah.
And it's very humbling because you've got to quickly get over the fact that you're not going to win. Right?
Yeah.
You're not the best. It's not necessarily about winning either, but people pass you regularly, and you've got to accept that if you've got a fragile ego, it's not for you.
Right. Well, I think it takes people that have fragile egos out of the equation, or it shows them how fragile their ego is and it fixes it.
Right.
Like really fast.
Yeah, you can't really have a big ego. I mean, there's definitely some like really badass runners out there who may still have some ego, but even, I mean, in the 240, like when I lined up, I was with people who have 4-year run streaks of 100 miles. Andrew Glaze is a guy that's on social media. Anyway, there's people that were in the top 10 that I interacted with. I ran probably 20 miles with the woman who got 3rd place. Anyway, like they're all just cool people from their own backgrounds, and they're all very kind. Anyway, it wasn't this weird, there's no ego. That's where I'm going with it.
Yeah.
Like it was just easy to be friends with people. So
like you said, there's that camaraderie as well. So
yeah,
it's it's not really the space for.
But you're saying part of that is, to take it back to what you were talking about at the beginning, is you guys are each taking yourself to a point of breaking.
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
People's mentality change really quickly when you get to that point of breaking. And you also probably find out a lot more about people, like where their loyalties lie, or what kind of person they really are. It's like
you can't fake it when you're 4 days in and 5 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Like you don't have the brain power to pretend you're somebody else.
Yeah.
Who you are comes out. It's very, very transparent. Yeah. So
I mean, to bring it back home a little bit, like it wasn't so emotional. I was very pleased to have finished it. But what I really liked was everybody waited. Everyone was hanging out. And
we were stoked.
And then our friend Caroline led. I know she did. They did this like guard of honor thing, but Caroline told everyone, like, we're going to use this this scene from Ted Lasso, and it just
that's right.
It made it so much more almost emotional because it really hit home that it wasn't just that, it was about community, and there was a big group of us that went up and did it, and it was it's a real opportunity to bond with friends in that suffering, but also just doing these things together. What was
the line? Do you remember?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Are you going to share?
It's
a
football chant. It's a soccer chant anyway, and it's about Roy Kent from Ted Lasso. If you know who that is.
He's there. He's here. He's there. He's every
way.
Yeah,
it's Roy Kent, but they changed it to Rob, and I was very touched.
Rob
by
Gov.
That. Yeah, I was very touched by that.
Oh.
So I want to talk a little. I want to move on to surf and cycle and the Uray 50, because that's what you'll know in town. Everyone knows you largely from it's Hollis we call it the shop. Yeah, like Montrose Surf and Cycle is the shop.
It makes me happy that I hear that.
Yeah, because it's the shop.
Not something I started, but people started doing it.
Where you going? I got to go to the shop, and we all know what we mean in our friend group when we say that. Yeah. But so it used to be called MKS, right?
Yeah, Montrose Kayak and Surf,
and then that changed as you changed locations. But
yeah, we changed locations, and then within that next year, we brought in a bike shop, and so then kayak and surf didn't connect as well. And anyway, but same ownership and anyway.
And it's so it is the same as Jagged Edge, right? In
Correct.
Telluride,
Yeah.
it's the
So
same.
there's Jagged Edge Gear Shop and Telluride, Jagged Edge Clothing, which they do a bunch of like little packs and backpacks and hoodies and different. It's usually technical materials and like a casual fit. But anyway, and that's all sewn here in Montrose.
And how long have you been with them? When did you?
I guess January 2020, I signed on, and then we opened up the shop a few months later. As you remember, there was kind of a big thing that happened right about that time. So
there was a big event. You might have heard about it.
It was pretty weird to go
to open a retail shop during that time period.
And that was the first time we went from seasonal, like closing in the winter and opening up in the spring. The previous manager, Bill, did that, and when I came on board, we decided to go full year round and bring bikes on board. And
so, I mean, I'll
so 5 years now.
Big the shop up. I mean, it's got everything you could ever want to in terms of the outdoors.
Yeah, if you want to spend time outside, this is where you go to the shop.
But you got rental bikes. You rent skis. It's not skis. It's not a rental shop, but you have things that people can rent.
Yeah, the idea, like when I came on board and I talked to the owner about it, my whole thing was that when I left Cascade Bikes, that was a very community-driven store. It was all the group rides were there. If you wanted to learn trail info, you'd show up there. So I wanted to do the same thing, but since we do so many things, it's a lot of little communities to be a part of, and that's why I was very happy when it was known as the shop. Just because if you're gonna go look for trails to run or hike, like you'd stop in the shop and just ask us. Like where somebody in the shop knows what trail conditions are and where to go. Biking, same thing, and paddling, same thing. Like we try to really be knowledgeable and giving with that knowledge, and then obviously it has to like eventually pay like the rent, right? So, but it's not like you come in, pay us $5 and we tell you where the trails are. The whole thing is to like be kind, pay forward a little bit, and then people feel comfortable coming in. And but we have a run club out of the shop. We do a few group rides through the summer months. We do free surf nights in July, Wednesday nights typically.
I mean, it's not a bike shop exclusively, but the whole concept of support your local bike shop. Surf and Cycle is our local shop. So if you need info or to buy things or rent things, go to Surf and Cycle and see Hollis and the crew there.
Wow. See, now you can tell that you're close friends.
Why?
Because Rob does not give away free promos to anybody on the show. If you ain't paying Rob, you ain't talking about it.
That's right.
So either there was money exchanged there that nobody saw, or he is truly a good friend.
And again, we're kind of getting close to time here because it goes quite quickly. But I want to give you an opportunity as well to talk about the Uray race series, because that's when is that? When's the Uray 50 and the 100?
Uray 100 comes up first. It's July 18th, if I remember right. It's that weekend. But that's a 52-hour cutoff, 100-mile race in and around Uray. So basically out and back on all the best hikes best relatively. They're horrible, like 1,000 feet per mile climbs. So it's
not. Here's the thing: it's 100 miles, but it's actually much. I mean, it sounds difficult anyway. But it's much more difficult than it sounds because
when you put elevation gain on it.
It's not like other hundreds, right?
I mean, when I went to Moab, I heard multiple people that did that race that were like, "I'm really glad I went and ran Uray 100 first because it let me know how a 200-mile race feels." Literally. And I'm real. Like I was friends with Charles and Chris before I was a big part of that race, and definitely before I was officially part of that race. But I did the Uray 50 as my first ultra, and that's like 23,000 feet of climbing or something like that. And I have an issue with my throat from some allergies and whatever. I only have 2/3 of my airway.
Wow.
Anyway, long story short, I had to take like 2 years off of all cardio, anything repetitive breath. And my way to like prove that I wasn't unable to run or do the things I love was to like just go murder myself in the mountains, because that made sense.
Just to put that into some context of 24,000 feet. Right. Everest is 29,000 feet. So you're 5,000 feet short of the summit of Mount Everest.
In total elevation gain.
From sea level.
I mean, that's a lot.
For a 50-mile race, it has, I mean, that's more elevation than the Creed race that I've failed twice, Creed 100. Which I did throw up at.
You did? Okay.
Yeah, both actually, I think.
I also have a photo of you throwing up at the beer mile we did a couple of
I'm
years
really
ago,
proud
too.
of that one because that's the best throw up I've ever had. But
Was there volume and distance
full
behind it?
value.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
And when is the 50?
The 50's in September. To be honest, I can't remember the date, which is
Okay.
kind of embarrassing on the spot. But yeah, and that's how I got into it.
Yeah.
And
Well, we'll let you get away with it because the head injuries and all
Yeah,
that.
totally,
It's-
thanks.
No problem.
And can people still sign up for both of them?
the 100 has a wait list. We're looking at adding about 25 people from the wait list into the start,
Right.
which would leave a couple of people if they all say yes.
Yeah.
So if you do think you want to do the 100, sign up soon. Right. Get on the wait list.
Do you guys need volunteers for the race for the races, or is that something that you're looking for?
Yeah, it's always like
It's tough.
Volunteers, we want people that really know their stuff because this is people like right at the edge of their ability,
Right.
and it takes a lot to like care for somebody at 2 a.m. when you're trying to help them do this goal.
Yeah.
So if you're a first responder or CPR specialist or something like that,
And we have some of the best medical.
Yeah.
If you've done these races, if you've done these kinds of races in the past, you know what to look for. You know how to be a better volunteer.
Yeah.
But
And honestly, if you're curious about what it looks like to do an ultra marathon, like come out and hang out and hand out water to people at the aid stations, fill up bottles for people. Like it's low hanging fruit and like cheer people on. It's super fun. And
even just hang out at Fallon Park, right?
Yeah.
At the end, it's just a good atmosphere because
we try and throw a party there.
right, this is the greatest day of some of those runners. It'll be the greatest day of their life.
Yeah.
Completing these races, so you can be there to
Very
support
impactful
that.
on people. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that is the coolest thing about long distance races is the people that actually win it, no fanfare.
Right.
Whatsoever.
Oh, well, Uray is the ultimate lack of fanfare race, right?
But usually the people that are just coming in at the cutoff get the best
exponentially opposite.
Yeah.
Right. Well, because there's that amazing support network,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But the Uray race series is known, right, for the finish line.
It's 2 cones in the grass field.
And they're not even full size cones.
No, they're like
2
field.
6-inch
Like
orange
soccer
cones.
cones for your 8-year-old
Yeah,
in soccer
and the last
practice.
time I was down there, I think it was last year, there's just kids picking them up and running around with them. You go, dude, that's the finish line. Get your kid to bring the cones back, and that's intentional,
Patrick
right?
Corrigan's kids. And
Yes, it was Patrick's kids.
Trying to headshot him with Nerf guns the whole time. Yeah,
But that's intentional, right? Like the race, you don't want to become a race, one of these huge race companies. Because I mean, there are obvious restrictions about the race itself, but it's so popular that if you could fill many more spots, I assume.
Yeah, I mean, right. I think last year was the first year we actually like sold out all the spots and had a wait list. And so we are growing, and now it's to this point where we'll have to figure out a lottery system.
Mm-hmm.
And so growing the 100 past where it's at comes with some headache, actually.
Right.
It's a beautiful thing. We don't want to have ego there.
Yeah.
And Charles has done a really good job of just like really celebrating the people who are maybe going to finish.
Right.
And encouraging those people.
Right.
Bringing it back to like doing hard stuff. One of the greatest compliments I've ever gotten in my life, I love it, is that Hollis will push you past your comfort zone, but he will support you in every way possible to do that. And Charles is exactly the same way. Chris is exactly the same way.
Yeah.
And we really tried to embody that as much as possible, like at that event. And part of that is like, good job. Here's your buckle. Can I have your tracker? Go get a bacon
go get something to drink.
Yeah.
By the way, while I have a second to do it, hey, Charles, I love you, buddy. I miss you. I haven't seen you in a very long time. My best to you and your family. And Chris as well. Yeah. Chris, thanks for coming out and helping me. He's got a great arborist business. Yeah, and he came and helped me last summer. So 2 really great guys. Yeah. Thanks for everything that you guys do too. But before we let you go, real quick, there's a bunch coming this summer. Are you gonna do some of the river stuff again? Are you gonna have any of those kind of like open days?
Yeah, the demo days, right?
Yeah, well, with Uray falls right in the middle of that January block, and for me to be out of the shop while we're doing that, I'm most likely still gonna do it, but I'm gonna have to shift it forward in the season. So like late June into July. It's a little more difficult for beginners that way, but I don't have a lot of support for that from the community. When I first came on board, I met Bill at the shop and got in with the shop because I was down volunteering and helping at the river. And there was like 6 or 8 people that just come down to like hand out wetsuits help people get in the river and do it safely that were other river surfers. Community's kind of shifted away from that. And the last couple of years, it's been more people showing up like to demo a board, say hi, thanks, and leave.
Right.
And I still love that people can get into it and we can teach them safe ways to get in the water. But at the same point, it's all me paying staff for every person there for overtime.
Right.
And it's a pretty big resource that we pay out of pocket. So the answer is yes. I don't know if it'll be as big as it has been in the past.
Okay.
It'll kind of depend on who shows up to help and all that kind of stuff. So
Is a better time to do that at the Funk Fest or the River Fest? It's the Funk Fest, right? That's what they're called.
You do
we
that
do
anyway.
Funk Fest also, and so we kind of have the same thing that happens on and off all day. We'll have instructors in the water helping people, and so my plan is to maybe do like 2 a month, like June, July, August, or something like that. Instead, there for a while it was like every Wednesday for the whole summer.
Yeah.
And then it got trimmed down to like July and August.
Right.
And last year we just did every Wednesday in July, and I actually did permits for some of August also. Like if we had weather and I couldn't do one, we just move one later. But
maybe we can help figure out a way to.
That was going to be my next question.
Right.
Is there something, because again, you taught my daughter how to river surf.
Yeah, that was super
and
fun.
she thought it was a great experience. And I just think it's like there's all too often there's not, even though people think that there's so much for kids to do, they're not aware of all the things for them to do.
Agreed.
And I think it's such a great resource, and you are such a great coach. I would love to see more kids get involved and do that. And,
maybe we can find a way to incentivize volunteers.
yeah. Well, absolutely.
We can
Absolutely.
definitely help with that.
Yeah.
we can brainstorm on that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, man, this has been a ton of fun.
Yeah.
We definitely have to have you back. And especially if it's pushing you out of your comfort zone, we'll have to get you back again.
Yeah, you'll be too comfortable next time.
Yeah.
Now.
I do feel more comfortable already.
Do you?
I'll be
Yeah.
honest. Yeah.
But thank you for showing up.
Yeah.
Thanks for getting on the Wheelie Nice couch. Thanks for helping me out. Finally, give this guy a little bit of his own medicine. Like, let him feel it.
A little bit.
He rolled his eyes.
I can take it from you two.
Please, you're gonna go home
You gotta
tonight.
try much harder, you two.
You're gonna go home tonight and maybe weep a little bit into your pillow. I can see it.
He's gonna
already.
have to snuggle Churchill pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
tonight
Let's see.
for
Are you going to wrap this up?
companionship.
I got a date with his wife.
Is that what it is?
I was pretty sure that you were gonna have coffee with her this morning, so you could get as much ammo as you could.
Yeah, I should have done
He
that.
probably tried.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's
I
probably
hope she
smart.
stood you up.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
Your wife would never stand me up. Are you kidding me?
She would probably cancel stuff with me to go hang out with you.
All right. Is there real quick?
Yeah.
Well, actually, we're going to end on this. You said you've been to every taco shop in town.
Yeah.
You got to give me 2 of your favorites.
Ooh. Well, what is the red taco truck on the north end of town?
I'm going to pronounce it wrong, but it's Cavilo.
Cavilo.
Yeah.
So I love their.
Don't roll your eyes unless you can pronounce it better.
I
The
love their
double L in Spanish is
tortas.
pronounced like a
Cavillo.
Y.
Cavillo.
That'd be
Okay.
closer.
The tortas from that place, top notch.
Yes.
And then Gordo's had my favorite burrito, but Gordo's sold. I haven't been back in, but Marcelino from El Gordo's was awesome.
Yep.
And I've heard they still have
Also
the same
very
cook,
good.
so
Yeah.
we should be able to still get the same burrito in theory, but I haven't made it back in
Yeah.
yet. So maybe, I don't know, it's whatever, 3:30, so
Yeah.
maybe I'll go get an early dinner.
Yeah.
Nice.
And,
Go check it out.
I mean, I know I like tacos and beer.
Yeah, tacos and beer
pretty
is
good.
phenomenal. We
Two
eat there a
lo-
lot after Run Club.
2
You'd know,
locations now. So we got one right by
Yeah.
your house and close to mine too, which is
way
cool.
too close to my house for comfort or
Okay.
for safety.
I lied to you. I'm not going to let you go without one more question
Yeah,
for you.
shoot.
You ended up on this couch as a result of a shout out from a previous guest.
Yes.
Eric.
Eric Carroll.
I mean,
I know who it was.
Well, I know you said it like you didn't.
He was trying to get me to say it, I thought.
Rob, just leave some of this show up to me. All right, I got it. I got it under control.
He is
I promise you.
micromanaging the.
Yeah.
The problem
yeah.
is you have the head thing, and I'm like, when you have a brain fart,
That's true. I did
know if
blank
it's-
out in this
I
episode.
don't know if it's you being professional and trying to be clever, or
Okay.
your brain just blacked out.
Would you like to, especially your group that you guys kept referring to, because it is a pretty awesome group.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else you'd like to challenge to come sit in that seat?
Oh man, I actually think Chris Marcinek would be pretty fun to talk.
Chris Marcinek
Yeah.
would be really fun if we could get him in
Yeah.
the seat.
He'll tell you like what it's like to be successful at Moab 240 too, not to like get beat by a 62-year-old and like, yeah.
That
anyway.
might be nice to bookend your story with,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, you did finish, so
did.
there's that.
I fought hard for 80th place.
Yeah. How many people don't finish?
I don't know. I think it had a 60% or like a 55% success rate or something this year. So whatever, 105 people finished or something like that.
Honestly, good for you for, representing, chubby guys all over.
Yeah.
Good work, honestly.
Thank you.
You give Dennis hope and everyone else out there who thinks I don't look like an athlete. You don't have to look like one.
Let's be very clear. You don't give me any hope of wanting to go do any of that. And that has nothing to do with you. But
No. But Rob's leading into something. I know that he's pulling my chain. But here's the thing is the people that I run with are 30 pounds lighter than me and taller than me.
Yes.
Most of them are at least 10 years younger than me. My main running friend is Nick, who's 20 years younger than me. I could literally be his father.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I have high blood pressure. I only have 2/3 of my airway.
Yeah.
There's no reason that I should be good.
You know what?
Stubborn.
And still kicking your ass. I'll say it for him. And by the way, chubby guys, what, do you resemble that remark? You don't get to call anybody chubby over there.
Yeah.
There's a reason.
I have a microphone. I get to say whatever
There's
I want.
a reason why your camera and my camera cut off right below our chest. Let's just put it that way.
Does mine cut off below?
No, you got the full image over there.
Yours cuts off, though, before we can see your feet.
That my feet are hanging.
Yeah. Hollis, it's been awesome, man. Thanks for coming on the show. We appreciate it.
Yeah, super fun to be here.
Rob, we're taking applications to fill your seat. Just saying.
Is a pretty big seat and big shoes to fill.
That is true. I will give him that.
And pants, actually. Too.
Yeah, huge pants. Huge pants to try to fill. All right, guys, this has been another episode of WKRP. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.